At Addo Elephant National Park, the third largest national park in South Africa, the air carries a different kind of silence. It is not emptiness, it is presence. Nearly 700 elephants roam that land, moving like ancient shadows across the plains, guided by memory older than fences, older than roads, older than the idea that humans might one day watch over them. Game rangers here do not simply patrol, they observe, they protect, and sometimes they gamble their lives. Most days are routine vehicles rolling slowly across dusty paths, binoculars scanning herds in the distance, radios crackling softly with updates. But on this day, something was wrong. A newborn calf only a few days old had fallen into a watering hole. From a distance, the scene looked almost calm. Up close, it was chaos. The baby elephant's small body struggled against steep, muddy walls that had hardened under the sun. Its legs were short, unsteady, powerful but inexperienced. Every attempt to climb out ended the same way, slipping, splashing, sinking deeper into exhaustion. And then the herd responded. Elephants do not abandon their young. They formed a circle instantly. Mothers, aunts, grandmothers, their massive bodies creating a living wall of protection. They sprayed water against the sides of the dam to soften the soil. They stamped their feet to break the hardened edges. They leaned forward, reaching with trunks that almost touched the calf. It was breathtaking. It was desperate. And it wasn't working. The mud refused to give. The water was deeper than it looked. The calf was tiring. From inside their vehicles, the rangers watched something extraordinary: raw instinct, collective intelligence, family loyalty stronger than fear. But they also saw something else. Time running out. The calf's movements were slowing. Its trumpets were weaker now. Panic was turning into fatigue, and fatigue, in the wild, is dangerous. Intervening in a herd of African elephants is not like stepping into a farmyard. These animals are among the most powerful and unpredictable creatures on Earth. When a baby is in danger, their protectiveness becomes absolute. Any perceived threat is met with force. Still, the rangers made a decision. They would help, but carefully. A backhoe was brought in, its engine loud against the fragile tension of the moment. The idea was simple. Dig a slope into the muddy wall, finish what the herd had started, give the calf a path to climb. It should have worked. But the moment the machine moved closer, the herd reacted. To them, it was not help. It was a threat. They tightened their circle. They shifted positions. In trying to protect the calf, they unknowingly pushed him deeper into the water. The situation was deteriorating. The machine backed away, and that's when the rangers realized something no one wants to admit in a moment like this. Plan A had failed. What came next would require risk. Real risk. Because to save the calf, they would have to separate him even briefly from the only protection he had ever known. Plan B was simple in theory. In reality, it bordered on reckless. The rangers would use their vehicles to push the herd back just far enough to create a narrow window, seconds, maybe to reach the calf. 2 vehicles would form a barrier. 2 men would run. They knew the risks. A charging elephant can flip a truck. A protective mother does not hesitate. But hesitation now meant watching a calf drown. Engines roared. Dust exploded into the air as the vehicles surged forward, carefully but forcefully pressuring the herd away from the dam. Trumpets filled the air, loud, furious, warning. For a split second, the circle broke. That was enough. 2 rangers ran. They slid down the muddy edge and into the water without thinking about lions or buffalo, or the possibility that 700 tons of anger might return at any moment. The calf was exhausted. Its eyes were wide, confused, its small trunk barely lifting above the surface. One ranger pushed from behind while the other pulled from the slope outside. Boots sinking deep into the mud, the calf slipped once, almost fell back. They refused to let him. With one final coordinated effort, they lifted him out and into the back of the vehicle. There was no celebration, only urgency. They drove toward the herd and gently lowered the calf onto the ground, backing away immediately to avoid triggering an attack. For a brief moment, the calf hesitated. Then he heard it, his mother's call, a deep, unmistakable rumble that cut through everything. He turned and ran, wobbly legs, determined heart. When he reached her, she wrapped her trunk around him, not aggressively, not urgently, but with something that looked almost like relief. The herd tightened around them again. From a safe distance, the rangers watched, silent, waiting for the inevitable charge. It never came. Instead, something else happened. The herd turned, and they trumpeted. Not in warning, not in rage, but in something softer, a sound that rolled across the land like recognition. For a moment, humans and elephants stood facing one another, separated by space but connected by understanding. No language, no agreement, just a shared truth. Life had been saved, and sometimes in the wild, that is enough.